Anu Gopalkrishnan of MIIndia.com and TiE Detroit, and I have with me one of our enterprising entrepreneurs as well as one of our enterprising charter members, Vice President of TiE Detroit and part of Fakhoury Law Group, that is Rami. Hi Rami, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Good.
Good.
So Rami, tell us about your perspective about entrepreneurship and immigration and your agenda for Global Midwest.
Sure. Actually, I think that there's a vital link between entrepreneurship and immigration. I think if you look at many of the statistics that show very successful entrepreneurs in the Valley, et cetera, I believe the latest statistics or study I read was approximately 40+% of startups were essentially first or second generation entrepreneurs. I think immigrants in general tend to be risk takers. I mean, when you leave your home country and leave everything you know for a better opportunity somewhere else, that's just sort of a natural, if you will, skill for entrepreneurship. And I think you can basically document in any area that attracts a lot of immigrants that there's much greater economic viability, and eventually the education system in the area improves, funds in terms of venture capital are attracted there, et cetera. So there is definitely a clear correlation between immigrants and entrepreneurship.
That's great. So tell me about your perspective about the way things are in your industry, since you're, from your legal, legal perspective, the way things are, how the economy is, and where do you think it's going?
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting dynamics. It's very political at this point. Clearly, the Great Recession has changed things. There are, unfortunately, a lot of well-educated and white-collar managers, et cetera, that are out of jobs or professionals. And I think part of that has to do with restructuring of industry in general and globalization. But most of these people are able to find jobs relatively soon. There are some that are having more difficult time, and I think clearly that needs to be worked upon. But in general, the unemployment rate amongst people with a 4-year college degree or higher is about 4% or less, depending on what area of the country you're in. So education is very clear in terms of lowering the unemployment rate. And because I deal with many skilled labor individuals or people that are considered professionals, politically there's a sort of a misnomer out there that these people are coming in to take jobs from Americans, when in fact, for the most part, they actually add jobs to the industry. And it's a matter of national economic security, because if we don't bring the best and the brightest, then the best and the best companies and the greatest technology will not be created here. It'll be created somewhere else. So even though this may incur or create some initial problems or a little bit more competition, in the long run, it's the right thing to do for the country, for the area, and actually for the U.S. worker, because they also exchange a lot of knowledge. And these people ultimately, eventually, most of them end up getting residency and becoming citizens. So it's not like they're going to take this information and go back. So what we need to do is be more welcoming and make sure that we dispel any misnomers or any negative aspects of true legal professional immigration.
Now, the Fakhoury Law Group is also the grand sponsor for Tiecon Midwest, and I'm sure because you strongly believe in the conference as well as the panel that you're putting together, you'll be moderating the Global Midwest. So, what do you anticipate getting out of the panel?
We have quite a few very knowledgeable speakers. So it'll be a very interesting and dynamic discussion. But basically, again, how can we put Detroit back on the global map? Detroit and the Detroit area really was truly global in the late 50s. I mean, with the automotive industry, et cetera. And actually, Detroit's had a lot of culture to the world with Motown music, et cetera. But we've kind of lost that in the last 10, 15 years. And unfortunately, whenever the word or news gets out globally about Detroit, it tends to be negative. But Detroit is filled with very, very talented people, immigrants and non-immigrants. And we have many ethnic communities. There is a lot of culture in Detroit. People are somewhat surprised at all the different ethnic groups and languages, et cetera. And I think what we're trying to demonstrate is that by having a very vibrant immigrant community and welcoming immigrants and professionals from around the world, that Detroit will benefit economically as well as culturally. And I think we need to do a better job of reaching out to people. And, many people, of course, hear about the East Coast or the West Coast and, the places to go. But I think by exposing them to the true quality of life that you have in the Detroit area will help us build a more educated and a more outward-looking population.
Now you're wearing several hats, at the TiE. So you're the vice president of TiE Detroit, and you're also the chief sponsor, one of the main sponsors, and you're also the charter member. So tell us, what do you think about TiE Detroit and Tiecon Midwest 2010? Since I think you were in attendance last year too.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely, and I think year before. So,
yes.
TiE is the largest entrepreneurial organization in the world. We are very fortunate to have a chapter in Detroit with good leadership. TEL's been tremendous at moving this chapter along, and we're lucky to have the Midwest Conference. And I think that even though Detroit's known for larger companies in the automotive industry, there is quite a bit of entrepreneurship here. And historically there has been. I mean, actually the big three started off as entrepreneurial ventures. And I think by getting back to our roots in entrepreneurship, it will benefit the community, and I think TiE delivers the message. TiE encourages entrepreneurship, and it also helps change the mindset, which has become a little bit too large industrial, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think even large companies are trying to think and behave more like entrepreneurs, and they're going to need to, because we're just going to have constant change, and you have to have more of constant change is good mentality. And what can we learn, and what new ideas can we be open to in order to survive and strive?
Great. You will be getting to hear more of Rami Fakhoury, and do not miss, mark your calendars, October 28th and 29th for the largest network of entrepreneurs. You will witness the biggest entrepreneurial conferences in the Midwest, and that's Tiecon Midwest 2010, October 28th and 29th, and visit our website, www.tieconmidwest.org. And this is for TiE Detroit and MID.com, Anu Gopalkrishnan.